that which is cosmic awareness is available and greets one and all. And this, the first conference call for this, the new year of 2019. That this awareness has delivered opening messages already for this year. And it has spoken of that which it has called the roller coaster ride of 2019. That this awareness would extend this analogy and would also say to you all that the apex has been reached. The plunge is now underway. And that this plunge is that which you are experiencing. That which is the roller coaster works on a principle of gravity, so that when the roller coaster itself reaches the apex of its climb, especially the big climb, that once the plunge happens, it is unstoppable. That as the plunge takes place and gravity takes hold, there is indeed nothing that can stop the roller coaster as it plummets down the opposite side, that which has taken so long to reach in the ascent is now that which is so speedily passing as the roller coaster plummets down. But here is that which this awareness would add now to the analogy, that as it plummets down, it also goes into a series of moves designed by those who have designed this roller coaster ride in the first place. These moves are such moves as curls and loop-to-loops and other smaller climbs and plummets. This is a ride. This ride is that which can be wonderful, exhilarating, and exciting, or it can be terrifying. The point of this matter that this awareness is delivering here is that you are on the ride, and you are in that part of the ride now where you cannot get off. It is underway, and you have a choice. This choice is either to understand that this intense experience that you are having and are about to have in this year is one where you do have a choice to panic and to be in fear and terror, or to actually put your hands up and enjoy the ride. This has been mentioned several times before, and it seems an impossibility to enjoy something that is so wild, to go into that space of mind that allows one to go with the flow of the experience rather than to be in a resistance of the experience. As the ride goes through the movements of the ride, the ups, the downs, the loop-to-loops, that it all goes very quickly, and before you know it, the ride is complete and done. This is also that which you will experience once this ride in this year is complete. It will seem like it whipped by, and that it had many moments of excitement and even terror, but that you somehow survived the ride. Now, looking at this from another perspective, as you are in the moment, everything is happening. And as you are in the moment, that which is any action that you can take is that which presents itself. And sometimes the action is taking no action. Sometimes it is certainly about going through the experience, whatever that experience may be. It is external events that sometimes affect those who are in their ride, and they see those external events as that which are affecting them deeply. But the truth of the matter is that this can only be so if you are holding on to the fact that events from outside of yourself can impinge upon you, can affect you. This is something that is still part of the mindset and of the realities that are held by most, that you are victims to the events and circumstances, that you can do nothing to the intrusion in your lives from those outside agents that would affect you. For example, at this moment, the nation of America is being heavily affected by their leaders, by the actions that are taking place in America, especially that action which is a battle between the President Trump, and the Democrats, who are, of course, servants to that which is known as deep state. And that many are listening to the fake news media that is suggesting that it is all one man's fault and that it is only his fault and that you are victims to his actions, held ransom and captive to this. This is one way of experiencing this experience of life, the events that are underway at this time. Another way is to say that in my own life and in my own reality, I am all right. Everything is happening, but it is all for a reason. It is all serving the higher cause. And that as I am focused on the higher cause and the higher purpose of my life, then everything will come for the best for me. For you as the individual are indeed the fulcrum point. You are indeed the one who can have the experience you are having and to choose it as to whether or not you are choosing to be in terror and fear and panic, or in a sense to enjoy the ride and to go with the flow, with the twists and the curves and the loop-de-loops of the ride itself. That this is a very important year, not only for the events that are going to take place on your planet at this time, but also for the events of your own personal life and your own personal journeys. And remember, what you are doing is returning to the Godhead of Source, returning to the principles of Spirit. These are the principles that exceed the reality mindset and the programming of humanity that has been underway for thousands of years. In some ways, it is a return back to a state of consciousness, a state of awareness that once was. This awareness assures you that humanity at one point was fully comprehensive of its spiritual nature and its spiritual roots. That humans lived on this planet participating in a third-dimensional reality that was spirit-based, that was not lost in the murkiness of the marshes, that was not lost to the realization that you are a creator being in unity with your own source and that which is the source of divine source itself. Now, humanity is trying to return to this original state. Many of you are aware of that which is known as the fall of the angels, the conflict supposedly between one named Lucifer and his minions, his group, versus Michael and God. Now, this has been a corruption of that which this awareness is talking about in terms of the fall of consciousness from that which you could call an angelic awareness and a state of being to that which was enslaved and captured by certain ones who knew that they could control humanity. But another way of understanding this is that there was a choice that was made thousands of years ago to have a new experience. And that experience was to separate oneself from Source, and to enter into a consciousness that was not aware of itself. And because it was not aware of itself, its true nature, that it could then be controlled and manipulated by ones who were aware, but did not wish humanity to have any understanding, for of course any understanding of the truth of one's being would put one beyond control and manipulation. However, this awareness must point out that this was all by intent and design, and that in the greater context of consciousness at all levels, at high levels, the choice to have such an experience was simply seen as an interesting experience to be had, not one that was to last for eternity, but one that was to last for a prescribed period of time, to see it through and to finish at the time that was correct and right. This is that time. This is the time of the completion of the experiment in consciousness that saw those who came into the human form, those who came into a physical reality, seemingly not being able to be in control of their lives, by having others who have understanding and awareness in control, and by agreeing to be even that which you could call a victim to life. To have this as the experience is that which was in alignment, in full alignment with the purpose of the experiment. But this experiment is now done. And because it is done, things are changing. As this awareness spoke previously, the 6 years since the Ascension event of 2012 have brought much change already. And now you have come to this point in the journey, this point where that which is the ride of life is fully underway, and it is a wild ride, and will be a wild ride. As you go through this ride, remember, this is that which is necessary now to throw off the shackles, the bonds, the chains of ignorance that has indeed been put upon humanity and put upon all. And as you start to awaken to the greater truth of your own being and its true nature, your true nature, you will find that this exciting time and this exciting ride is everything you hoped it to be and wanted it to be and came here to experience. Yes, this is so. You came here with full intent and purpose. And even though you came into a reality mindset where you forgot that you came here by design and by purpose, it is nonetheless still the truth. And many of you are awakening now to this. That many are anticipating that which is fifth dimensional reality coming to them, becoming the new norm. And it is so that humanity is moving towards a greater comprehension based on a higher level of conscious awareness. But you must also be participant in this. You must, by your own choice, choose to wake up. And many have awoken greatly, and many are awakening. Many of you who are here today have made deep choices that are behind the actual experiences of your life at this time. None of you can call yourself victims, or at least if you do so, you will never be able to hold it, for you all know that you truly are not victims, but you are participants in a game that is seeing consciousness return back to a state it once occupied. And that this therefore is now the part of the journey that is the return to the soul. It took thousands of years to come to this point in this experiment, and it will take a time to return all of humanity as a unified collective force back to that point where the gates of heaven are open again to all of the collective. But this does not mean that the individual, you, the individual, do not have the right and even the design of this change, of this return to heightened consciousness and heightened awareness. As this awareness said a moment ago, many are awakening. But for these ones who are new to the truth of the reality that they really are in, they will have many questions. There will be much confusion. It is part and parcel of your individual intent and design, having come here at this time, to participate with those who are awakening, to assist those who are awakening. Of course, this in reference to those who you experience. It is not necessarily that you have to go and stand on the proverbial soapbox. It is more that if there is opportunity to speak of other things, other ways of looking at it, that you do not shy off, that you present what you know to be the truth, your truth, and allow others to have their questions. You do not need to convince any, but as many are awakening and as many are starting to ask their question, then this too becomes part of the ride, part of the journey, part of the reawakening. That as humanity claws its way up the incline that is coming in terms of the overall journey of humanity, that it is to be seen and recognized that your responsibility is mostly first and foremost to yourself and your own awakening, and then to others who may find you, who may come to you, who may be available to you, so that you can discuss things from a different perspective. And for many of you, this would be a hardship, because many of you have had rather experiences where there has been great opposition, even often ridicule and argument over another way of looking at things, especially if they are contrary to very deeply held fundamental beliefs that hold sway still. That is why this awareness says to one and all, in this journey that you are now experiencing, that understand the twists and the curves and the loop-de-loops are all part of the ride, and sometimes you can work with them, and sometimes you must simply relax to them and let the ride take over, and let the ride show you that it is all right to simply be, to simply enjoy the ride itself. As you see your own truth becoming more solid, you will also see that which others will call miracles happening. You will have experiences of synchronicity of a great nature that allows you to see synchronicity is not simply the presentation of numbers, but actual communication that is coming to you from your own source, as you are of source. All of this is that which is ahead, and that which is happening at this moment is that which is meant to be happening. Even the chaos of the moment, even the struggle in government, in society, and even that which you could be indeed calling the global struggle, is that which is of design. This is the curiosity, and this is also the paradox, that you can be here at this time and be part of that which is occurring, and yet still be in charge of your own life, of your own place of focus. As focused personalities who are awakening to the grander and greater truth of their own being, it is to be understood that you are here by choice. And since this is so, and you have choice, that as you begin that long journey back to the full integration of the human soul into the collective of the divine, you will see many opportunities for yourself, even those opportunities that come hard on the tail of events that are upsetting and unsettling. This is all part of your journey. And as you hold that that which is presented to you in this journey is indeed part of the journey, part of that which you have chosen, part of that which you have assigned to yourself to experience, then you will find greater mastery and greater control of your life, even though you give in to the journey and the ride itself, knowing that this too is of design by that which is Source itself. It is a wild time this year of 2019 and in this moment, but it is that time that will take many of you to a place of completion, and so that you are ready for the times ahead. That this year, as this awareness has spoken already, is the third year of a 3-year period that is indeed a wild period. And while it is so, this is a wild period, while it is so that much will occur, it will all be in accordance to your own personal plan. And as you keep your head up and above the water, and as you enjoy the swim or the ride, you will find that this is indeed the most exciting of times. That this awareness is complete in its opening message at this time.